Welcome back to 3 News Now, my friends. I'm Stephanie Haney. It's Wednesday, September 30th. Yes, it is the last day of September 2020, if you can believe it. I've got your top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Thanks for choosing to be here to get filled in on everything that's impacting you here in Northeast Ohio. And yesterday was quite the day for us here in Northeast Ohio, hosting the first ever presidential debate of the 2020 election between President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. Looking forward to the November 3rd election. Well, if you watched it last night, or if you've just been online at all today and you've seen the commentary, you know that it was quite chaotic. Apparently, the Commission on Presidential Debates is paying attention to that feedback because they are now considering changes to the debate structure. The Commission on Presidential Debates is a nonpartisan commission that has organized every general election presidential debate since 1988. That group came out with a statement today saying that the first debate made clear that additional structure should be added to the format of the remaining debates to ensure a more orderly discussion of the issues. If you weren't paying attention to the debate yesterday, this was the format. There were 6 15-minute segments, and the moderator asked a question at the top of each segment. So at the top of each segment, both President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden were each to be given 2 minutes to respond uninterrupted. And then from there, it was to take an open dialogue format for the rest of the 15 minutes of each particular segment. Well, that definitely did not happen. Moderator Chris Wallace of Fox News had to ask President Donald Trump many times to allow former Vice President Joe Biden to speak without interruption. However, he was not successful in getting control of the debate scenario yesterday. There were many times when President Trump interrupted the Democratic presidential candidate to the point that Biden was not able to complete a sentence. The issue was brought up over and over again repeatedly, so much so that at one point Wallace actually had to scold both Trump and Biden. He even said at one point, "I hate to raise my voice, but I might as well be like the both of you." Not a great moment for sure when you're trying to have a constructive dialogue about the policies that Americans want to hear about. So the commission now says that it is carefully considering the changes and will adopt and announce those measures shortly. Here's one suggestion that I would like to offer to the commission. Perhaps there could be one boom mic, one of those mics that sort of hangs overhead that could swing back and forth between President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. That way, you're not dealing with somebody cutting a mic, which is something that a lot of people have suggested online. You can time it. You can blame the whole thing on the machines. Just a possibility, something to take into consideration. Now, former Vice President Joe Biden had talked one-on-one today with our 3 News Russ Mitchell. He offered his opinion on the future of the debates. Some people have been saying that Joe Biden might do well to opt out of the future debates. However, his campaign says they have agreed to the future debates, which are coming up in October. Russ Mitchell asked Biden today on the train tour that he's currently on that's going through Ohio and parts of Pennsylvania. Russ was on the train with Biden today, and Russ confirmed, "Have you agreed to the future debates?" And Biden said, yes, he has. And so Russ asked Biden if he wants the rules changed. Here's what Biden said. "I would hope they would be able to gain more control. I thought it was embarrassing for the country the way the president acted to the rest of the world watching us. The next debate is going to be a town hall type debate, and I'm really looking forward to it because, as I understand it, audience members are going to ask us a question and we get to answer the question, each of us. I just hope there's an opportunity to actually answer the question." That's the Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden's words to our Russ Mitchell. Now, President Donald Trump tweeted this morning that he felt ganged up on by the moderator and Biden. That was his perspective of the scenario. Now, 3 News has also requested an interview with President Donald Trump, but we have not yet heard back. So upon hearing back, hopefully we'll get an opportunity to speak directly with President Donald Trump and get his thoughts on the matter. Now let's talk about the latest COVID-19 numbers. We've got those numbers out now from the Ohio Department of Health. New daily reported cases are up today from yesterday, but new daily reported deaths are down. Something that we've seen a lot with those daily reported death numbers really bouncing around. In the last 24 hours, new daily reported cases are down. I misspoke there. They are down from yesterday. New daily reported cases in the last 24 hours are 1,080. That's down from yesterday when there were 1,105 new reported cases of COVID-19. Over the last 7 days, for all of the COVID-19 tests that have been done, 2.9% of them have come back positive. So that's our average testing positivity rate. That continues to be below that World Health Organization recommended threshold of 5%. So positive news there for sure. Now, in the last 24 hours, there have been 21 new deaths reported. That's also down from yesterday when there were 27 new deaths reported. Keep in mind, there is a lag on the reporting of this data. We see this number bounce around a lot. The Ohio Department of Health has previously told me that numbers do tend to be lower on the weekends because less agencies are open and doing the reporting, and the reporting is less frequent on the weekends. So oftentimes we do see those low numbers over the weekend. That was the case over this past weekend when we saw single-digit numbers on Saturday and Sunday. We have seen 103 new hospitalizations in the last 24 hours, and right now there are 689 people who are currently hospitalized being treated with COVID-19. That's up from yesterday as well. Now, of those 689 people who are in the hospital, 194 of them are being treated in an intensive care unit. So that's about 28% of all the people who are hospitalized for COVID-19 right now are getting treatment in an ICU. And we've seen 11 new ICU admissions related to COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. Now let's take a look at the national and global COVID-19 numbers. These numbers come from Johns Hopkins University. This is something that was discussed yesterday during the presidential debate. So in the last 24 hours, according to Johns Hopkins University, there have been just under 39,000 new reported cases of COVID-19. That total number of cases reported of COVID-19 in the U.S. is now at 7,206,654. And in the last 24 hours, there have been just under 900 new deaths reported related to COVID-19 in the U.S. That total number, 206,436. It was last week when we hit that grim milestone of 200,000 COVID-19 deaths here in the U.S. Now, the U.S. has about 4% of the global population, and yet we have 21% of the reported cases and 20% of the reported deaths related to COVID-19. Globally, there have been now 33,768,721 reported cases of COVID-19. That's 300,000 new COVID-19 cases globally in the last 24 hours. And the total number of deaths now this week topping 1 million. That total number now 1,009,894 reported COVID-19 deaths globally. That's about 6,100 new deaths in the last 24 hours at the global level. Now, speaking of COVID-19, yes, COVID-19 is now impacting the NFL. The NFL has gone 3 weeks without a COVID-19 outbreak, but that ended yesterday when the first COVID-19 outbreak hit. And now at least one game, is being rescheduled. The Tennessee Titans were supposed to host our nemesis, the Pittsburgh Steelers, on Sunday at 1 p.m. Well, Tuesday, 3 players on the Tennessee Titans and 5 members of the Tennessee Titans personnel tested positive for COVID-19, and 1 more Titans player tested positive for COVID-19 this morning. So, Tennessee has suspended in-person activities through Friday. The NFL said in a statement that they're rescheduling Sunday's game to allow additional time for further daily COVID-19 testing and to ensure the health and safety of players, coaches, and game day personnel. But they are not rescheduling it for very long. They're actually looking at Monday or next Tuesday right now to reschedule that game. An interesting call there when you think about the incubation period for COVID-19 and what the possibilities are for people who may have been infected based on the high level of contact in the NFL. But that's the choice that the NFL is making right now. Now, the Minnesota Vikings, who played the Tennessee Titans on Sunday, also suspended in-person activities just as a precaution. So far right now, all of the Vikings COVID-19 tests have come back negative. That's according to the NFL Network. And the Steelers, a byproduct of all of this, because we don't know anything about any positive COVID-19 tests on the Pittsburgh Steelers team, but they were scheduled to play the Tennessee Titans, and we also don't know anything about any plans for the Vikings impacting the team that they are scheduled to play this week. So right now, just one game in the NFL rescheduled, and not postponed for very long. Again, looking at Monday or Tuesday. Here in Northeast Ohio today, we are celebrating a radio icon, Jeff Kinzbach. He retired from 97.5 WONE in Akron today. He hosted his final morning show this morning with his co-host, Sandra Miller. He's been on the radio for 50 years, waking people up every morning. In a video that he posted announcing his retirement a couple weeks ago, he says it's been a lot of fun. It really has been, and he's gotten to do things that he would have never gotten to do, gotten to meet very cool people, gotten to have a lot of great experiences. So today, when he was signing off for the last time, he really said it's about the people. He said there are so many people, and it's really that he wanted to thank, and it's really the people that make a difference in your life. In a video that he posted earlier this month announcing his retirement, he had his co-host in there and some of his co-workers from 97.5 having a good time, throwing paper around, goofing around in the station. He said that he'll be rocking and wheeling around the country during his retirement, doing all the things he never had time to do before. Kinzbach became well known on the Jeff and the Flash show. That was on Cleveland's 100.7 WMMS, and then he joined WONE in early 2013. So been there for about the last 7 years. WONE says that Jeff was a major force in getting the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame located here in Cleveland. How about that? Now, in 2002, he received the Cleveland Area Broadcasters Excellence in Broadcasting Award, and in 2004, he was inducted into the Radio Television Broadcasters Hall of Fame, and then went on to continue working for 16 more years. Obviously, an incredible person, being inducted into the Hall of Fame long before his time was done on the microphone. He will certainly be missed on the airwaves here in Northeast Ohio. Jeff, good luck to you in retirement. Enjoy all of those things that you just didn't have the time to do before. And with it being the end of September, one thing that people are thinking about is trick-or-treating. That's something a lot of people have been looking forward to. Northeast Ohio communities are handling that differently this year. Some communities are skipping trick-or-treating. Some communities are sort of taking a hands-off approach and letting the neighborhoods decide how they want to handle it. Others are moving forward and they have it scheduled. So we've got a full breakdown on WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Here's a couple. Fair Lawn, of course, is not having any citywide trick-or-treating. Copley is not having any community-sponsored trick-or-treating, but neighborhoods can organize their own trick-or-treating if they should so choose. Akron is moving forward with a sponsored trick-or-treating. That's going to be on Saturday, October 31st, on Halloween from 5 to 7 p.m. Same deal in Westlake and Willoughby. Those will be on Saturday, October 31st, both of those from 6 to 8 p.m. So whether you're on the west side or the east side or the south side or anywhere else here in Northeast Ohio, we'll continue to update when we learn your location's plans. That's on WKYC.com and our WKYC app. And if you have information, go ahead and send that to us. You can tweet me, you can DM me, you can email me. You'll get it to us and we'll make sure we get it up to date for you. One more reminder, with it being the end of September, there are 5 days left to register to vote in the state of Ohio for the upcoming presidential election. So double check that you're registered. Make sure your status is up to date. If you have recently moved, check with your friends, check with your family, check with your followers on this beautiful thing that is the internet. I tweeted out a link today, which you can find at _Stephanie Haney. If you want to register to vote online, you can do that with an Ohio ID card or an Ohio driver's license and your social security number. You can also register to vote in person at your county board of elections now through October 5th. That is next Monday. So if you're 18 years or older between now and October 5th, and you are planning to vote in the upcoming presidential election on November 3rd, you need to make sure that you are registered. That's it for your afternoon update for Wednesday, September 30th. I'll see you next up on What's New at 5 p.m. with the trending stories in Clicking in Cleveland. And I'll see you back here tomorrow with 3 News Now. Everyone enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And if you are listening to this as a podcast, first of all, thank you. If you do like podcasts and you weren't aware, we are a podcast now. Just search for 3 News Now with Stephanie Haney on your favorite podcast platform. 3 News is one word, and it is the number 3. So 3 News, no space, now with Stephanie Haney. Subscribe, rate, and review us. We would really appreciate it. Stay safe, be well. I'll see you back here tomorrow. I'm Stephanie Haney.